Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk About It. I'm Sherry Lopez. Thank you for joining me for another episode. In episode 26, we talked about something that many people have never considered, that women can also groom, recruit, exploit, and traffic others. We discussed how our assumptions about women can create dangerous blind spots because we often associate women with kindness, nurturing, protection, and safety. Today, I want to continue that conversation by sharing one of the most painful experiences of my own life. As I've shared before, grooming rarely begins in an obviously dangerous way. If it did, someone would likely step in before it progressed. Grooming succeeds because it slowly builds trust, creates emotional attachment, and makes unhealthy relationships feel safe. Sometimes the person doing the grooming doesn't appear dangerous at all. Sometimes they appear to be the answer you've been desperately hoping for. I know it was for me, and I will tell you why. When I was being exploited by my first trafficker, I felt trapped. Every day I hoped someone would notice. I wanted someone to ask me if I was okay. I wanted someone to tell me I didn't deserve what was happening. And more than anything, I wanted someone to help me escape. Like many victims, I wasn't waiting for another relationship. I was waiting for a rescue, someone to step up and help me. Then one day, someone came into my life. It was a woman who began attending the parties that my first trafficker held. I noticed her right away because she was not being taken into bedrooms with men like me and the other girls at the parties, and I wondered why. Why was she off limits when she seemed to be a young woman too? Why did the men at the parties talk to her with respect, not call her names, hit her, or force her to drink the red drink? Many times, I saw money exchange hands between my trafficker and this woman, and I heard my name mentioned more than once, but I had no idea what was happening. But she certainly caught my attention, and I watched her a lot. Then one evening, she started talking to me in a warm and friendly way. I wasn't really used to that warmth anymore. I was 18 by this time and had been trafficked for 3 years now. I had a big wall of distrust around me, yet this woman was different, or at least I thought she was. She listened to me. She looked at my eyes when she spoke to me. She comforted me, and she seemed genuinely concerned about what I was going through. She even ran interference between me and my trafficker, and in some cases did keep me safe from some of the men at the parties. When my trafficker became angry, she defended me and would argue with him and made it seem like she was standing up for me. She was very different, and little by little, she became someone I trusted. I wanted to trust her because she would often tell me that she was going to get me out of this place. When she said that, I thought, freedom and an end to the abuse. The more time we spent together, the more convinced I became that she was going to help me get away, and for the first time in a long time, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Hope. I believed someone finally cared, and that she was going to rescue me. I believed my nightmare was almost over, and I was counting down the days. She would tell me, only 1 more week and you will leave this place. 4 more days, and then tomorrow you will leave this place. Part of why I trusted her so completely was because she was a woman. She was warm, attentive, caring. She played the role of my protector, and she used the words and phrases I needed to hear, like, you will be leaving this place soon. She never told me where she was going to take me. I just figured away from where I was currently at would be better than any other place, but I was so wrong. I believed women were naturally nurturing and protective. I couldn't imagine that another woman would intentionally exploit me. In my mind, she represented comfort, safety, and the rescue I had been praying for. Looking back now, I realized she wasn't just building a friendship. She, too, was grooming me. Every conversation, every comforting word, every moment she appeared to defend me strengthened my trust in her. While I believed she was helping me escape, she was preparing me to become her victim. Then I learned the truth. She wasn't trying to rescue me. She had been paying my trafficker to buy me from him like a can of goods on a shelf. The whole thing was crazy and so hard to comprehend. I used up all the trust I had left in me to trust her because she was a woman, but she betrayed me. The woman I believed was going to save me became my second trafficker. That realization changed my life forever. I didn't just lose hope. I lost my ability to trust my own judgment because the person I believed was my protector had become my next exploiter. Today, I understand that this is one of the most deceptive forms of grooming, and traffickers understand that when someone has been manipulated, isolated, and controlled, hope becomes incredibly powerful. They know that victims are longing for someone who will finally care, for someone who will listen, and someone who will make everything stop. I learned through this that a groomer can enter a person's life in many roles, such as a boyfriend, girlfriend, someone pretending to be a friend, and even as a rescuer. Women groom too, that's the bottom line. My experience just happened to be while I was already being trafficked. So, don't discount the fact that a woman can find victims to groom and exploit as well. Just look at the social media and news posts about women teachers who have been arrested for grooming and abusing their male students. The rescuer could be rescuing a child or teen from an abusive home, a teen that wants more freedom than their parents give them, or someone who wants to fit in. I could go on and on. A groomer looks for vulnerability and unmet needs. This is just one more reason education is so important. And the more we understand how grooming works, the better prepared we are to recognize it before exploitation begins. Quickly, here are the 7 steps of grooming: selecting a victim, building trust, filling needs, isolation, boundary testing, exploitation, and maintaining control. We need to teach children, teens, and vulnerable adults what genuine care looks like and what looks like grooming. This truly could save a life. Remember, real care never asks someone to keep secrets, doesn't isolate people from those who love them, doesn't make someone feel indebted because they received kindness. Real care doesn't create dependence. Real care creates safety, healthy relationships, and respect for personal boundaries. Sometimes hope becomes another tool of control. That doesn't mean hope is dangerous. It means we must learn to recognize the difference between genuine care and counterfeit care. Before we close, I want to leave you with one question. If a woman can pretend to care, pretend to protect, and even pretend to rescue as part of the grooming process, then how do we recognize genuine care? That's exactly what we'll talk about in our next episode, Part 3 of Women Groom 2. We'll explore the difference between genuine care and counterfeit care, the warning signs to watch for, and how to recognize relationships that build safety instead of dependence. I hope you'll join me because understanding that difference may be one of the most important tools we have for preventing grooming before exploitation occurs. If today's episode gave you a different perspective on how grooming can be disguised as rescue from a woman, I encourage you to continue learning. Understanding how grooming unfolds is one of the most effective ways we can prevent exploitation before it occurs. If you'd like to take a deeper dive into understanding grooming and exploitation, I invite you to enroll in my survivor-led Recognizing Grooming with the Intent to Exploit masterclass. In this 5-hour, self-paced online course, I walk you through the entire grooming process, explain the psychological tactics offenders use, share additional real-life examples, and provide practical tools to help you recognize warning signs before exploitation occurs. To learn more or enroll, visit www.survivorledlearning.com. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Let's Talk About It. If this episode was meaningful to you, please share it with someone you care about. Every person who understands the grooming process is another person who may recognize it early enough to change the course of someone's life. Until next time, stay aware, keep learning, and remember, prevention starts long before exploitation.